Okay, welcome to this episode of the Smart Leaders Sell podcast. I'm Jessica Lorimer, sales coach and leadership expert. And today I'm joined by two of my new favorite people on the internet. So today I'm joined by Mike and Erin Kelly from MemberVault. I also sound like a man today, so apologies to everyone who knows that I don't normally sound like this. But I have a super exciting episode with Mike and Erin where we're going to be talking about how they've totally and utterly disrupted the software market when it comes to course creation and the way that sales run in terms of software. So welcome, Mike and Erin.
Yay, thanks so much for having us. And we're so thrilled to be here.
It's awesome. It is awesome. So you guys can't see because obviously podcast auditory, not video. But Erin currently has their gorgeous little baby all wrapped up and she's doing her thing. So Erin's going to talk a bit later and do all the important stuff. And we're going to give it to Mike for the humor and the introductions and put lots of pressure on him in general to just make it really good. So I know about you guys because I found you, I want to say 4 weeks ago when I was going through a real crap day. I was having the worst Saturday that I'd probably had in a little while because I run a large membership site. And so I wake up on a Saturday morning and my boyfriend's there and we're having a cup of tea and it's all good. And then my email starts like pinging and I'm like, oh crap, what's that? Nobody emails me at weekends because everyone knows that I'm usually, drunk. Too much Prosecco. And so I open it up and there are loads of people going, hey Jess, we can't get into the membership site. And we know that you don't work weekends, but just thought you should know. And I'm thinking, crap, that is not a good look. And so I go and I email the company who are hosting our membership site and I'm like, hey guys, just letting you know, this doesn't work. Like, what's the deal? And they're like, yeah, sorry, we'll be back on Tuesday. Okay, cool. So, before I kind of got gray hairs, obviously I went over to you guys. I'd heard great things about MemberVault and I'd kind of seen you guys in my Facebook feed. I'd seen people who'd been like, hey, there's this kind of cool thing called MemberVault. You should check that out. And I went onto your website and I typed in the little chat box. I'm like, I'm having the worst day ever. Please someone rescue me and give me somewhere I can put a membership site. And Mike responded like 20 minutes later, which was a huge surprise because you guys are up early. And was like, yeah, we can do that for you. And by Monday, we had the whole membership site pretty much in there. Like 2 days, everyone was like migrated in. It was all really easy. So that's how I know you, kind of from a, oh my God, freak out, save me perspective. But what is it that you're actually doing in the market? What's the thing?
We're looking for people like you and your team because you are a great success story. So, yeah, I mean, like you said, it's so funny when you say we've been disrupting the software and sales market and stuff like that. And we are, right? And the funny thing is we never intended to do that. That's not what we kind of set out to do. We were doing this thing where we were kind of scratching our own itch. We started out like over 2 years ago, just kind of building a simple course platform and just listening to just for like one customer. You know what I mean? It was just like something custom, simple for one customer. And then we just kept iterating on it. And people kept saying, ooh, what is this? It's nice. It's clean. And then we kept kind of rolling in little nice to have features that we always wish something had. And here we are, we're like 2.5 years later, here we are. And we have what we're now identifying as a relationship marketing platform. And so it kind of combines the best of a course platform, a membership platform, and a sales platform. And that's the piece where I know we're going to talk about that later, where we're really in a unique position here in the software market to help out people like you and your team and really any entrepreneur that has a digital product. Like that's who we're here to help.
Yeah. And I really like this. And there are a couple of reasons I really like this. And the first thing is that you said 2.5 years. Now, most of the people who listen to the podcast are used to me saying, you have to put your reps in, right? When you start a business, it doesn't happen overnight. Like you don't wake up one day and go, oh, cool, I'm making 7 figures now. Yay. Even though that would be awesome. But I think it's really important to acknowledge the fact that 2.5 years of work have gone into this. And literally today, I just said to you before we start recording, I just saw you put on Facebook, you now have your 999 members, which is you're about to hit that kind of 1 comma mark in terms of members, which is phenomenal.
Yeah. And actually that's one of the things I was just talking to somebody yesterday and she asked me, what's the biggest challenge with running MemberVault and like kind of creating it? And because again, it is really, I feel we all see those Facebook ads of some dude with a Lamborghini and you're like, I just I was driving a Civic yesterday and I got a Lambo today. Just click on this ad, you're cool. And that's not, we all know that's not how that works, right?
Well,
and
yeah,
so,
I think we're living the dream today. I mean, Erin is recording from your closet with the baby. I'm here sounding like a man full of snot. You're in the garage. Like, we're not doing this, people.
and notice the lack of Lamborghini in the garage.
Yeah.
Like, it's not 2.5 years. There's still no Lambo.
I just thought it was invisible. I thought you were going for like a new James Bond-esque kind of car.
I like that. That's what I'm going with. From now on, that's what I'm going with. It's an invisible Lambo. Yeah. And so anyway, so somebody was asking me like, what was the biggest struggle in MemberVault? And I always thought that building and running a software company, the biggest challenges were going to be software, tech, bugs, development, that kind of stuff. And it's not. I was like, the hardest part was we had this beautiful idea. We had this great software that was like light and fast and it worked. And the core of that is still alive today, 2.5 years later. And yet we rolled it out to the world and nobody cared. People are like, what is it? Is it like Teachable? I don't get it. And because we were terrible at telling people what it was. And then so that was a constant evolution of like just messaging and like positioning and like, why do people care? Instead of saying what it is, like say how it's going to help them. And it sounds really basic. It's stuff that we all hear. And then it's so hard to do when it's your thing. And so it was just a year plus of just getting nothing, begging people to use it for free. And still everyone's like, yeah, I know you're giving it to me for free, but I'm still not sure. You know, like I've never heard of you guys. Yeah.
In some ways it makes it worse. You're like, you've got it for free. You can see it's great. Just buy the thing, right? You want people to understand that. And I think it's so interesting because when we come into this online business world, certainly, we're taught build it and they'll come. Like in corporate, I came from a corporate background, we were taught go out there and be really aggressive and make it happen. And so when I came into the online space and everyone was like chilling out and they're like, no, I'm going to build the thing. People are just going to come. And I'm like, holy crap, I'm the only shark in the water here. Like off I go with the Jaws music. And I think that it's really common. So many people are creating courses before they've got audiences. So many people are creating things for people, in terms of the content, but they forget about the sales strategy and they forget about the core users and how they're actually going to go out there and turn that into money. And that's a big deal, because ultimately that's how your business survives.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, that was just such the hard part of like, getting that messaging down and like kind of communicating like to people. And there's just that grit of like just doing it every day. Like we know we're doing something great. Like the people that have got past the friction of getting set up and understanding what we do, and our friends and family, basically, like they're people that already like you, will suffer through your, awkward teenage years with you. And so we knew we had a great thing. And so it was just about like just getting up every day and being like, okay, what can we do to make it make a little more sense? What can we do to make it a little bit easier? What can we do? So but it's constant. Like today, like we're still picking that lock of like, great. So like now our message, like people get it now and people get excited and people sign up. And now like our biggest thing is like, now we're like, great, people get in the door. Now, how can we get them to use our accounts? Like how can we make that easier for them to get set up? Because again, sadly, they're not all like you who get everything set up in a weekend. And I'm just like, do you need anything? And you're like, no, we're good. I'm like,
not everybody is as fueled as on coffee, I think.
I know. I'm going to pop in. The baby's finally asleep. So yeah, I mean, the thing that's been really cool is that as we have been developing our messaging, we're realizing that we can scale it back to the first like 10%. Like recently we just had the epiphany about the binge and buy marketplace. We're like, okay, people aren't really even our most rabid like fans that have been following MemberVault for forever don't fully get it because it's such, like you said, disrupting the marketplace. Like people don't understand how that works. We realized like we need to go way deeper into that before we start talking about all of the other stuff like the gamification and tagging, because they need to understand that really core concept first.
And this is the thing. So this is what I love. And, I have a whiteboard opposite me and it currently says binge and buy. And I was telling you guys as we were recording the episode, poor Liz, my COO, my very weary at this point COO, is now we're creating like 15 new things, opt-ins, products to go into MemberVault this week. And we've been talking about this binge and buy. And I think it's fabulous because honestly, I couldn't give a toss whether I can tag someone, but I absolutely care about how I can get my customers the best solutions in the quickest time. And so this binge and buy affects my bottom line. It makes my customers' lives easy. That's the benefit. Like that's the key benefit. And I think that's such a unique proposition in an otherwise super saturated marketplace. Because if you look at the other course creators and the kind of software pieces out there, they don't focus on the sales piece at all. And that for me is a real mistake because I obviously am biased massively. But you know, I think, yes, we want the customer experience to be good. And that's another thing that MemberVault is great at. But as course creators, we want people to buy them. You know, we want to retain people in memberships. We want to make it easy for people to buy more stuff. And that's the really unique thing about you guys that I don't see anybody else doing. So was that a conscious decision? Was that something that you guys were like, oh, this is really lacking in the market? Or was it something you stumbled on accidentally that just turned out to be this amazing thing?
Yeah. So, you know, we started off with the tagging being the thing that we were really, really excited about. And the fact that it was a course platform. And then we just watched our users and we're like, hey, wait, actually, they're putting all their stuff in there because we didn't have any restrictions. We're like, this is a really good idea because we all have that folder on our desktop where it's like all the PDFs we signed up for that are never going to be opened or looked at. And then, like you said at the beginning, that you came into the marketplace and you were a shark because no one else was selling. They were all kind of like sitting back. And we realized, hey, this is kind of a deconstructed funnel where as soon as they come into your marketplace, they can see all the things that you have available. So everything's in one place. It's easier for your users to be able to consume your PDFs and your challenges and all that good stuff. But they can also see all the stuff that they can buy. So it was really watching our users that kind of developed that idea.
And I think that's phenomenal because when you have a user-driven business, it does so much better than when you have a you-driven business. And I know that, you know, having worked in sales for years, salespeople can be really arrogant. I have, over the course of my life, been arrogant on a number of occasions and gone, oh yeah, but I want to sell this so you guys can just buy it. And nobody does because, you know, it's whatever the universe's way of being like, no, thank you, you know, come down a peg or two. But it is that piece of you always have to be listening to your audience. And the best market research you can get is listen to your audience and then give them what they want or give them more of what's working really well for them.
And give them the choice too. This is like, what are we taught in the online world is that we need to build a lead magnet that goes to a funnel, that goes to a 5-day challenge. And on day 6, you email them to offer the low cost offer. And then if they buy that, they go to the next step of your funnel. And then eventually, maybe a year down the road, you offer them a one-on-one service. And it's ridiculous because how many people would have signed up for your big thing the first day they opted in, right? You're missing that entire audience. And I think funnel builders and a lot of salespeople are seeing this big hole now. And they're thinking, great, how can I make my funnel more clever? How can I add more complexity to this funnel? When what we've discovered is, why don't we simplify this a lot more and give a little more transparency? And we don't need to trick our users into doing this. We've kind of boiled down sales to get them in the door, engage with them to build trust, and they'll buy themselves. Like, you don't have to trick them into doing that. Just giving them the option and letting them see and buy themselves, we're actually finding converts really high. Like, so why do we need to go? And you don't need to do all this crazy complex automation funnel nonsense. You can just keep it real simple.
But this is the thing, and it's funny because one of my things is always about selling transparently. I think people should know when they're being sold to, and I think actually you should quite enjoy the process, because if you enjoy the sales process or the buying process, which a lot of people do if it's done well, you will buy more. You know, and the impressive thing for me about MemberVault is that you're catching people in hyper buying mode. Right? Mm-hmm. When someone has a problem, they just want to solve the problem. They don't want to solve the problem on your time frame. They don't want to solve the problem with a 20 quid ebook and then something else and then something else. They just want you to go, okay, here's how you can fix that problem. Here are the levels to which you can fix that problem. Off you go. And I think that the problem that we have with funnel building is that everyone's become so scared to sell because everyone's like, oh God, what way can I sell to my customers so that they don't know they're being sold to? So we can make it less awkward, when the reality is, if you just turn around and you go, hey, look, I've got this awesome thing. It's going to solve all of these problems for you. You can buy it or not. It's up to you. actually it makes people's lives a lot easier and they will stick with you a lot longer. You know, I was saying to my community the other day, like, we've built a hugely successful and hugely profitable business, and I'm very fortunate for that. But there is nothing inherently complex about what I do or the funnels that we run. Everything is just, here you go, have this thing. It will solve your problem to a degree. Then we'll offer you a full solution. And if you want to pay for it, that's cool. If you don't, then you can go and find someone else who will solve all of the problems in the world for free. That's fine. Like, you know, and I think that's, as a marketplace, it works a lot better because you don't want to keep putting people through endless free content before they can pay you. Otherwise, you train them to become baby birds, right? They're just sat there waiting for you to give them something else. And that doesn't work either.
Yeah, and I think that that's what's created that tendency for people to get caught in the strategy, and that they need all these tech tools, like they need a deadline funnel and they need all this urgency and they need to like have this crazy complex funnel to get people to buy because nobody's buying yet. But it's because they're not making the offer, or they aren't exactly solving the issue that the person has. I mean, that's a separate conversation. But yeah, I mean, I think that's something that our users have said that they love about MemberVault is they feel like they are selling more, but pitching less. Yeah. So they feel really good about selling instead of being scared of selling, which is, I mean, we're just, yes, do that. That's be a human with your audience and they will love you for it.
Yeah. But that's the thing, people buy from people. And I think if you can give your audience accessibility to you being human and showing up and saying, hey, here's who I am, here's what I do, here's how I can help you, it's much easier for them to go through your process than to be subjected to 30,000 webinars before they can just hand over some money. Because let's face it, nobody has endless 45-minute slots in their days where they can just watch endless video content.
And this is one of our analogies that has been landing really well because I've seen it in the real world. I feel like people like what we do online and what we do in the real world are so completely separate, and it's not, we're the same people. We're just sitting in front of a computer. And I always say, like, let's start giving people the Apple Store experience. Yes, Apple has a great product, right? But it's their retail stores. If you've ever walked into an Apple Store, which I think most of us have, you see binge and buy in action. Yeah. Right? You see people like they don't have some weird funnel where you have to ask a guy behind the counter to get a MacBook Pro out for you so you can, you know, test it, and then you have to give them your email address and like none of this is happening, right? Like what do? They just lay everything out on the tables and they let you play with it. And when you're ready to buy, they just stand next to you with their little handheld thing and they swipe your card and you walk out the door with a MacBook Pro and you're like, what just happened? But it's fantastic because they're not, they make it easy, right? They make it easy. They're transparent. There's no weird, you do it on your timeline. It's very user driven. Yeah. And what we're trying to tell people to do is, why aren't we selling our digital products in the same way? Why are we trying to like hide behind all these complex doors and make people jump through all these hoops? When maybe the answer is just being like Apple and putting it all out on the table and letting people play with it and then engaging with them while they're playing with it and then make the sale. It can be that easy.
Yeah. But that's the thing. I think it's absolutely that easy. I mean, Erin, you've definitely got this because I've read your emails about this. I read Erin's emails.
I feel so special now. But yeah, like you said, I mean, people do enjoy the buying process when it's done well. I know I do. I love buying when someone totally understands my problem and they make it really easy for me to sign up for that opt-in. And it's exactly that little taste that I need to build a little bit of trust with them. And I get that they understand what I'm dealing with. And then they say, hey, I have this, you know, this product that's going to solve this problem. I'm like, yeah, where do I sign up? I don't care how much it is, actually. Yeah. You know, I'm going to make it happen because I want that thing. And I love it. I will shout you from the rooftops when you make it easy. Whereas I found this person that was an expert in LinkedIn, which was something that we were kind of wanting to dabble in. And she had amazing opt-ins. She had an amazing free Facebook group. Like it was all, the front end of her funnel was fantastic. And I signed up, but I'm one of those people that I'm like, I want to do it now. I want to fix my problem. I don't want to wait. I'm like you, like I want to do it in a weekend. And she didn't have any of her offers, her paid offers on her website. And sure enough, like 2 weeks later, I finally got the paid offer and I was already onto something else.
Yeah. But this is the problem. I think sometimes we go, oh, if we make people wait, they'll know us, they'll like us, they'll trust us more. The reality is, you know, when you form your opinion of someone in, I think like 30 seconds now or something, it's less than 30 seconds to make an impression. Why would your content be any different? And I think this is what we're missing in the online space. Everyone is so desperate to be so techie that we actually miss out this connection piece around, oh, cool, I read this book by this person, or I've read this email by this person. They sound like they know what they're on about. I'll give them my email address. Oh, cool, they're offering me something to buy. Well, you know, it looks good and they seem okay. I'm going to spend the money. Like, that's fine. And I think it does come down to this point that people really hate selling. You know, it's not that people hate buying. And I think that's never been the issue. I think it's this real aversion that people have to being salesy. And that really is a completely separate issue.
I think what ends up happening is that people, they wait for so long and then they word vomit. And then it does feel really icky and salesy because you're like, whoa, like, where is that coming from? You're being super awkward and like pushing this thing, and it's only going to be available for 24 hours and you have to buy it right now. And like, it doesn't feel authentic. And so there's this huge disconnect. Whereas I personally love it when people have sales offers in every single email they send, because when I'm ready to buy, I can just click and go ahead and buy it. And it's on my time. Like Mike said, make it easy, like make it easy for people.
Yeah. I feel like we get caught into these like pushy sales techniques because we ice our audience by making them wait, right? Like that's the worst thing. Like American baseball, like the worst thing you could do is ice a pitcher, like make him wait, and then he cools down, right? And then it's like, he's not on top, you know, like, so you've just iced your audience because you made them wait. And now you need to like rekindle this with this, like, oh my God, you got to sign up now to get these bonuses and do this thing, and, you know, or it's going to expire, because you have to like manufacture that excitement back again. When in fact it was there in the beginning. Like if you, you know, like you could skip all that weird, awkward intermediate part by just selling when they're hot already.
And this is the interesting thing. It really is about opportunity. You know, it's funny that you mentioned bonuses. So in the 4 years that I've been running my business, I have never given a bonus for any course. Erin's face is like, what? Yeah, I'm super stingy. I'm joking. But, you know, it's one of those things like,
Shark.
Just give me all your money and leave.
That makes you stand out in a big way.
But it's one of those things that for me, when I came into the online space, I saw a ton of people who were like, oh, you can have this course, and, you know, you can also have these like 10, 12 bonuses, and they're all worth this, and I'm just going to make you pay that. And I was kind of always a bit like, well, I don't buy a course based on the bonuses. I buy a course on, do I have this problem? Do I want to solve this problem? And if someone has to sell me 10 bonuses to try and make it sexier for me to buy, I'm like, what's wrong with your course? So, you know, it is about looking at what the opportunity is and when the opportunity is and taking it, you know. And I think we can all get a little bit, oh, wow, that person sells all the time. That person sells too much. And I really, you know, for me, I feel like people are secretly thinking, I wish I had the confidence to sell that often, or I wish I was making the money that they were. I wish I had as many customers as they did, you know, and actually they're looking at it through that filter rather than, oh my God, this person is super spammy. Unless, of course, they're a dirty car salesman, because, you know, Matilda's dad was not a nice man.
And there's a big difference between selling. There's two kinds of selling all the time, right? They're selling all the time authentically and in a relationship building way where you're not like trying to shove it down their throat. You're not saying, hey, there's this bonus that's going to be expiring. And then there's the person that's like constantly doing affiliate launches, constantly doing launches for their thing. And it's all super high pressure. There's no value in their emails. And they're just like, okay, like I signed up for you. I liked you, but you burned me out. Like I'm not getting any value out of this. Yeah.
And I think that's really interesting. And, you know, from that, the one thing that really interests me about you guys, and so obviously I read Erin's emails, and if you're not on their email list, go and check it out. We're putting a link in the show notes for you guys. You can go and check out MemberVault and all that kind of good stuff. But you call yourselves a happiness engineer. You're the co-founder and happiness engineer. And that made me really happy when I read that. I was like, that's someone that actually likes their job. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's so funny. I've had so many people reply and say, I love that. I'm totally stealing your signature line. I'm like, go for it, because that's what we're all about here. We want to make people happy. Nothing makes my day like getting a reply from someone saying, this was super helpful and I can't wait to use MemberVault. Like, yes, I did my job well. Like I made it easy for you. You got value, and now you can't wait to try the product, and eventually you'll upgrade on your own time.
Yeah. And I think that's the most important thing. You know, certainly for my audience, and I have been waxing lyrical about MemberVault to my membership community, who all have now seen it and have been like, oh my God, it looks amazing. And I'm like, yeah, I know. That's really all down to Liz. I want to point out I'm not technical in any way, shape or form. And MemberVault is not technical, but all I did was integrate it with things and Liz made it look pretty. So any of the customization that you guys are impressed by, not me. But, you know, we've been talking about it and everyone is in love, you know, because they're like, it's so much easier to use. We can find things easier. It's easy to set up profiles. You know, from a customer service perspective for us, it's much easier when you have the traditional membership site problems like, 30 people have forgotten their passwords today. Great. Like, that's a hassle on most sites because you have to go in, you have to do things manually, you have to remind people, all this kind of stuff. For us, moving over to MemberVault, you know, it literally took us 48 hours, you know, and none of us on my team are particularly whiz kids. Like, you know, we can use a computer ostensibly because we all use online businesses. But moving over and making the switch was so easy. You guys were really responsive. We found the help documents really easy to use. We could integrate everything immediately. And I remember saying to Mike, I was like, hey, look, I'm just going to pay for a year. Like, I don't care because you offer this amazing free platform, right? You give people like, I don't know, 2 products or 3 products or something for free.
Yeah, so we've recently just restructured that because again, like you were saying, yeah, we just want to give value. Our whole thing is we want people to be able to get started, start making some money and see this working. So now what we've done is we've restructured it. So our free tier has all the features, unlimited products, but you're limited to 50 users. And now we have a base plan which limits you to 1,000 users. That's $39 a month. So there's a more affordable plan, and then there's unlimited users for $99 a month. And so doing it user based, but giving you all the features, all the payment integrations, all the stuff. We're going to be launching advanced payments, so multiple currencies, payment plans, and then before the end of the year, we're going to have built-in affiliate tracking. And everybody, including the free accounts, are going to get all of these features because we don't want to limit you on features. Yeah. Instead, get started, start seeing this thing working and go, oh my God, this is awesome. And then be like, cool, I want to import my whole email list. I want to grow my list with you guys and we'll grow with you. So yeah, so that's how our free plan works now. And there's no time limit. People are like, we get people, how long is your free trial? Take your time, but you're not going to want to take your time. You're going to want to get started.
Say that we're totally the guinea pigs here, right? Because talking about the bad habits, we felt like we had to have that urgency. So we started off with a free trial that was limited in time. And then we saw how stressed out it was making people. So they felt stressed out. And so we've just been iterating. And it feels so good to take out those false urgencies and be like, you know what? We want all of our users to succeed. So we're going to make it usage based. And yes, that was a really scary decision because we're like, oh my God, everyone's going to downgrade, right? But if you're using your plan and you're using your account, you're going to want to upgrade. And so we're just going to give you everything so that you can really maximize it. And it feels really good. And people are loving it, obviously.
But this is the interesting thing. So you're talking about, doing something different in the marketplace. And so to cut a long story short, I used MailChimp. When I first started off in the industry, I used MailChimp. MailChimp was free. It was all relatively simple. The reason I came away from MailChimp was because as soon as you wanted to automate anything, and this was, back in the day, they were like, okay, that's $30. And I'm like, whoa, hang on a minute. I'm paying you nothing. And then to get the features that I need to move my business, I have to pay you $30. And when I looked at other email providers, I'm currently with ActiveCampaign, it was $9. I could pay ActiveCampaign $9 and get every single feature for my tiny 200-person email list at that point. And ActiveCampaign were like, cool, that's $9. And I was like, whoa. And so it's really interesting because yes, people want to trial things. And I love that you guys don't have a time limit on trials, but also you're not unreasonable about the trial. You're not saying to people, hey, you have to trial a pro plan so you can have access to all these features that if you only take this level, you're never going to get to use those again ever. What you're saying to people is, hey, we're making this fair and easy for everyone. You can have all the features. We're going to cap you at users. It makes it really accessible for new business owners to start off in the right way, but also for existing business owners to be like, yeah, no, cool. I'm with a MailChimp-esque type experience right now, and I'm going to move and make my life a little bit easier.
Yeah, we've had some big accounts move over. I mean, there's some people with, it's great. I love being able to help out like the people that are just starting out and maybe they only have 40 people on their list, right? So they get to use this tech that like people that we have an account with like 125,000 users in their MemberVault, like that's crazy. And so like, but they get to use all the same features. I love that. And it makes us feel good. That was our big shift, moving away from like being feature locked and certain things. And that's what we were like, oh, when we like release affiliate tracking and this and that, like, all right, we'll have to make that only for the paid users. And it started to feel like we're just making things awkward for our free users. Like we're not practicing our binge and buy, like we're preaching to people. And so like we had to like kind of check ourselves and be like, okay, how can we do this differently to where we allow you to get started? And again, the beauty is that you will see if you have 50 users in there, like if you run 50 users through MemberVault, you'll see the magic happen and you'll be like, fantastic. The more people I put in here and engage and build relationships with, the more I'll make, right? So it's like, and the more I'll build my list and the more, like it's a positive feedback loop and everybody wins.
Yeah, 100%. So let's just run through a couple of the things that I've used from MemberVault, because I have in no way explored the entirety of it. We got very, very caught up in moving the dotties. And like I say, poor Liz is now on her little hamster wheel of doom where I'm just having all these ideas and going, yeah, I've got this bit of content. Go turn that into something pretty that we can do things with. But we've done a lot with MemberVault. So a couple of things that really impressed me about the way that you're changing the market and about the way that your sales process worked. I liked how easy it was. I could go onto your page, I could talk to Mike and say, hey, I'm stuck, help me. And he went, okay, here you go. Yes, we can do this. What do you want to do? And I was like, I'm going to upgrade to the annual membership because then I can sit down with Erin once a quarter apparently and just chin wag about cool strategy stuff on MemberVault that we're not using, but will be using. And I liked the custom migration. One of the things that really impressed me was how easy you guys make it for everyone. We came to you and we were like, we have a lot of stuff that we need to move and a short time frame. And you were like, oh, cool. Well, we can move 3 whole products for you. And that's kind of going through the motions at the moment with we're just putting cash creation into MemberVault, which is going to look awesome. And so that was really cool, and there were lots of things that became easier. What really impressed me though, and obviously I'm really transparent about sales on the podcast, guys, so you know this, I became an affiliate for MemberVault because I was like, within 24 hours, I was like, I friggin' love this and I'm going to use it all the time and I'm an annual member. And I did the binge and buy. I didn't even binge. I was just like, I'm going to have this. It's great. Have all my money. But when I became an affiliate, I got this little email that's like, hey, do you want a custom landing page? And I was like, yes, I want a custom landing page with my face on so that people can see why I love MemberVault and why I would recommend it. And, I got this little email from Erin saying, I'll build you one. And I was like, cool. And now we have a custom affiliate page with my face on that if you guys go into the show notes, you can go and you can see it and you can look at my face and all the reasons that I've written out that I love MemberVault in case they're not clear enough on this episode. But I thought that was really impressive because I preach relationship-based sales. And at every single point during your sales process, I felt like I was building the relationship with you guys, that you were there, that you were going to support me, that you were going to look after me, that you were going to look after my customers more importantly, but also that there was this kind of like consistent over delivery and great management of expectations, and that's what I really liked.
Yeah, it's funny. So I manage all of our affiliates and all of the pages that I've done. I think every single one, part of the feedback has been like, I've never experienced customer service like I have at MemberVault. Like it wows me. I feel like I feel like they're a VA on my team, like they're supporting me, blah, blah, blah. So we're of course like, that's so awesome. Like we love you guys because we do. I mean, we do over deliver, but it's because we really care.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't stress enough. This is a dream come true for us to be able to do this. Like Erin comes from obviously you read her emails, you get it. She comes from like marketing strategy. She's the brains behind MemberVault and she truly is. And I'm a developer. I love engineering and building software. And so she's always wanted to like be the marketing, like she's always wanted to own that for herself. She used to do it for other clients, right? And like, yes, I'm getting these great results for other clients, right? But like, oh, how cool would it be to do that for our thing? And then me as a developer, like I built software for huge companies, you know, in the world and stuff like that. And it was cool. I love building software, but I always wanted to build it for our people. So, I mean, it's a dream come true for us. Like, and we'll never stop like innovating. We'll never stop. Like, people always ask me, I love this. People always ask me like, where's MemberVault going to be in 5 years or 1 year or wherever? And my answer is always, I have no idea. It's up to our users. We're constantly polling our users to be like, what features do you want to see next? What's next for us? What do you want? Like, and I think that's really separated us from like a lot of the competition where people get in and they're like, not only do I love the software and I love what we got here, we're disrupting the market. I'm using air quotes. We're disrupting the market. It feels weird to say, but just by listening to like what people want.
Yeah.
Which sounds obvious. And yet, you know, like there's not that many people doing it. And we're going to continue to do that because it's awesome. I love being able to be like, wow, I never thought of that. All these great ideas come from our users. And so we're just going to keep innovating. So MemberVault users get a say in the future of MemberVault. And I think that's really cool. It's not about me or Erin. Yeah.
Yeah. Like when we first started MemberVault, when we were like itty bitty beginning business owners there, we actually discussed making it like a co-op model because we were like, wouldn't it be really cool if everyone was invested? And so obviously we didn't kind of go that route, but community has always been number one for us because like Mike said, I mean, all of our best ideas come from actually watching people use their accounts.
Yeah.
And that's a nifty idea. I like that. Or when they ask us for a feature, we're like, that's a really good idea. Yeah, we're gonna. And of course, Mike is super fast, so he throws it together in like 24 hours, and they're wowed by that. But that's how we've evolved to where we are now, and it's just super fun to be part of.
I love it. I love it. Thank you guys so much for coming on today. Seriously, you guys are just phenomenal, like husband and wife team, and with a baby, and doing all of the crazy, amazing stuff that you're doing at MemberVault. You know, from my perspective, I think if you're listening to the podcast and you're currently working with a course creation or a course content software thing or a membership site platform that isn't doing the job that you want it to do, or it feels stagnant, please go and look at MemberVault. You know, I will absolutely shamelessly plug my affiliate link, which I kindly got for me, which is membervault.co/Jessica or dash if you're American, Lorimer. And if you can't spell my name, it's in the show notes, so it's fine. You can go and click on it there. But, you know, I really, really do think me and Liz were looking at my business and we were looking at just the amount of money that my current business with no extra changes, and you guys who listen to the podcast will know, you know, revenue wise where we've been at this year and last year, and you know, we're looking at some big numbers, which is kind of scary for 2018, but we can add probably an extra 32% of revenue just from what we're doing now with MemberVault. When we've transferred everything over to MemberVault with our courses, with all the 27 funnels that we have, with everything else, that's a 32% revenue rise in like the next 3 months, which is awesome. So even if you are not hitting that kind of, Mike's like, yay, we'll be your testimonial for MemberVault, don't you worry. But it's that kind of thing. So even if you haven't hit your first sale yet, even if you haven't hit your first 5 figures yet, or you know, your first like 6-figure whatever month, quarter, year, make sure you set yourself up in the right way. Do not make the mistakes that I did, and don't go for a platform that isn't going to grow with you. Go and check out something like MemberVault, ideally through my affiliate link, because I'll love you forever. But, you know, seriously, go and check it out and make sure that you're getting a platform that's going to meet your needs for the future. But thank you guys for coming on. It's been epic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. So guys, if you've liked that episode, make sure you hit the little review button on iTunes. I know it's an absolute bugger to find, but if you can, it'd be nice if you could leave us a little 5-star review. If you don't want to leave a 5-star review, don't leave one. Joking, sort of not joking. But it would be great if you can give us some feedback and let us know how you are enjoying the podcast, because this is the 100th episode week, which is very, very cool. I will see you guys in Monday's episode. Have a great week, and we'll catch up soon.